for being here on Skype, and thank you for taking your time.
Oh yeah. I got the time wrong. So exactly where are you? You're in Germany, right?
I'm in Germany, in Cologne. Yeah,
Cologne.
That's a place where you play in, I think, in 2 weeks.
That's correct. Yeah, we played there before. I've been there many times actually, but I thought it was the same time zone. So in Sweden we now have 7 o'clock.
Yeah, in Germany we have exactly 7 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. So we're in the same zone.
I'm confused. I'm getting old.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Anyway, so we're connected. I can hear you. I can see you. All good.
Yeah, fine. And that's a very nice background you have with the orange amps. I like that.
Oh yeah, the orange amps. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually sitting in my studio because I've been working pretty much all week and all day, and not night, but I used to work nights, but I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Because Inside Out is doing all the back catalog, not only for Transatlantic but also for the Flower Kings.
For the Flower Kings, yeah.
So that's pretty much 15 albums. So I'm remixing, remastering, and fixing stuff. Takes a lot of time.
That's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that is my first question. Is it true that is your working day is quite regularly timed, unlike to some other musicians? So what does a normal day in your life look like?
Oh, a normal day. Well, take today, for instance. I think I got up at 7 o'clock, which is, it could be 7 o'clock, it could be 9, but
okay.
This morning it was 7 o'clock because I had to finish stuff that I needed to send to Inside Out. Yeah. Our record label, because of the not Transatlantic but Flower Kings reissue. So I work very hard to try to make the old album sound great, you know, even on vinyl and stuff like that. So that's pretty much where we are. I mean, with all the projects I'm working, and I suppose many other bands, be it progressive rock or rock in general, it's vinyl is the new thing, you know. It's young people, they really like vinyl, and I can understand why. You and me are probably about the same age, so we grew up in a time when vinyl was the thing, you know, and then suddenly you have this.
I'm born in 61.
Sorry, you're born in. You're a little bit younger than me. Yeah.
Okay, but you're looking still young.
Oh yeah. I try my best. I work hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did COVID has any consequences for you and the music and your life and family?
I mean, it almost feels bad to tell, but I have to say that it really didn't affect me that much, because lots of work. I mean, it's not like I'm touring all year. And even in normal times, it's like, could be a Transatlantic tour, could be a Flower Kings tour. But lots of time is spent in the studio where I'm sitting right now, or in another studio somewhere, you know, and recording stuff, overdubbing, or generally just working in other places, in studios. So that's a lot of time a year I do not spend on the road. But I would say that I kind of enjoyed actually being at home, because I have the studio I'm sitting in right now is actually my home also. Like many other musicians have, they bring the studio home so they can be with the family and work in the studio. It's very convenient. So that's nice. But I spent a lot of time just going back and finding old tapes, finding old hard drives with recordings and stuff like that. So I kind of enjoyed not being on the road and being with my family a little bit more. My sons are grown up, so they're every now and then they pop in, you know, and say hi. But you know, it's being at home and being available, and you know, working with music and not being on the road is sometimes, you know, for me personally at my age is kind of, I enjoy it. I have to be
Yeah, I
honest.
think so. Yeah.
So COVID was, I do understand fully, because other musicians I know, they are depending on not record sales and stuff like that. They're depending on going on stage, playing, or they're doing sound, or they're doing drum tech for someone or keyboard teching for someone, you know, and they need to be on the road to earn money.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on the road to earn money. So,
Okay.
for the situation, I'm probably not the right person to ask how the COVID situation changed stuff for me. It changed a little bit for the better.
But not too much. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. And but you're doing a lot of work. Do you have time to listen to some other bands? And what kind of music or what bands do you prefer when you listen to music? When you relax, sit down in
Well, I suppose many people probably guess that I listen a lot to progressive rock because I'm in progressive rock bands. But truth is, well, there was a time, you know, in the 70s when I listened a lot of Gentle Giant and Yes and King Crimson and bands like that. I still enjoyed these bands very much, but all the time I had other interests, you know, more like pop music. So back in the day, it used to be whatever, Elton John or the Beatles, of course. But yeah, these kind of bands, you know, and even Fleetwood Mac, you know, even when they were a blues band, but also when they became big and had all the hits, you know, in the mid 70s. So well-crafted pop music, even from Sweden we have ABBA, of course.
Yeah,
ABBA.
okay.
Yeah. They could write the hit. So I enjoy that kind of music too, but I also enjoy the progressive rock and then all the way to more avant-garde music, you know, which is a good thing, you know, because I can listen to classical music, I can listen to electronic music, avant-garde music, enjoy it. Not for the same reasons, of course, but, you know, sometimes it's a good day for a good pop song.
Yeah.
I mean, Foo Fighters is a great rock and roll band.
Yeah.
These guys.
They are,
Yeah. And even a good, I mean, I loved Deep Purple back in the day, and Led Zeppelin, and particularly Deep Purple, because they swing, you know, they have great music. So that kind of music. But if I sit down and listen to music today, it could be Coldplay. I really enjoy Coldplay. I went to
great band,
Muse, for instance.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing, you know. Peter Gabriel, I love Peter Gabriel, and again, good pop music. Not so much metal, I have to say. You know, I enjoy more like the older metal bands, not the modern. It's too technical for me personally, but it's I can appreciate the craft that went into it.
That's right.
Like, I'm not digging.
I have the opportunity to interview UFO in 2 weeks. They are still playing in Cologne, and I'm still looking forward to see that guys. Maybe it's the last time on stage because it's the farewell tour.
Come on, everyone is doing a farewell tour, you know. For myself, I turned whatever 80 and still rocking.
Okay, but you're still on tour with Transatlantic, and my first question to Transatlantic is, your epics are rooted in the prog of the 70s, even after more than 2 decades. Transatlantic is not still a nostalgic act. The new album happily quotes the past but looks to the future. Is it true?
I think it's been like that all the time. When we made the first album in 1999, I think we came together and we realized fairly quickly that we have just like I described, we have a common love for pop music, good pop music. We have a common love for complicated progressive rock, you know. Mike loves his metal, you know, a bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all love the Beatles, you know, we all love, you know, well-crafted pop music and a good melody. It could be Elton John, it could be Fleetwood Mac, it could be any kind of music that carries a good melody. But we also love the quirky stuff, the complicated odd time, you know, when we have 9/8, 13/8, you know, the riffing. you have to be on your toes when you play the music, you know. So it's I think it's well, I would say all the guys in the band have a very broad taste of music, you know.
Mm.
So we can appreciate just about the same music, and that's, I think, in a way that makes us, when we write songs, being very open-minded. So if someone comes with a very ambient piece of music, you know, well, let's say Pete has this ambient piece of music, you know, we have an open mind. Let's see what we can do about it, you know. And I, in a pop song, and then maybe Mike or Neil say, oh, I like that bit, you know, can we try this one in here? And we sort of shape it together to be sounding like Transatlantic, you know. And I think that, I mean, the key to, well, the success is actually being open-minded towards any kind of music, and that we just try to, over time, shape the songs in a way that they sort of represent all the styles of music that we have grown to love over the years. The age span is a little bit different. I think Mike is probably almost 15 years younger than me. So, and Neil and Pete a couple of years younger than me. But we can still see, I mean, like the Beatles and the metal bands like Zeppelin and Deep Purple, you know, and you know, whatever pop music that carries a good melody. We appreciate that, and that's sort of, I think, what's sort of glued together when we write the epics.
Yeah,
how we want them to be.
Is the new album, The Absolute Universe, a little bit of longing for a better world? So when I saw this video first, and I saw this journey of this spacecraft looking for, I thought first it's looking for a better world than we have today.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's, well, I have to be very honest. I think, yes, the world is in a very sad state in a way, as it is. If we looking at it, I mean, from a European perspective right now, but also maybe we tend to forget about there's actually progress in a good direction. So it's very easy to just focus on the negatives. But I think it's actually, I mean, looking at, if you're talking about the video in itself, it's actually created by a guy that we gave him freedom to create what he wanted.
Okay.
And we liked you know, and maybe he sort of took in the music and listened to it, and this is his impression. And of course, he had all these new tools that you have today, creating videos you can buy almost like clip art, and you just put it together, and he's been very, very creative with it and created this amazing thing that would have cost millions and millions just like 20-25 years ago. But if you're clever and you're smart and you're enthusiastic, you can create something that's amazing. And I mean, the invention in this is just like, I have seen most of it. I haven't seen all of it, to be honest. I don't have the time to look at it.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, I'm busy. But I mean, the stuff I've seen is just like, wow, you know, and it just creates another dimension to the music, and that's lovely. And that's just like, I mean, the times of pop or rock and roll videos where four guys is just posing with guitars, that's that's history, you know. Now bring in the spaceships, you know, the explosions and the sea animals, whatever. So that's great, you know.
It reminds me to the Yellow Submarine.
Oh,
just a little bit.
Oh, a little bit, and that's probably intentional, you
know. The album was released in 3 different formats. How did this idea come about?
Well, frankly, actually, we got together in Sweden in a studio to write music, record, and try to sort of shape this new big epic. And then I think the guys went home to America and to England, and Neil and Mike went on tour, I think with Flying Colors, if I remember right. And I was working with something, I can't remember now what exactly. Pete went on tour with Marillion, I think.
Mm.
And then the album was sort of just lying there, you know. And I kept on working on overdubs and stuff and shaping my idea of what I thought the album should be. And that was pretty much what we had when we left the studio. This is what we had, you know. I was, okay. This is what we had. I'm going to work my guitars and my vocals and write my lyrics around this. So I did. And then sent it around. And then I think in December, or maybe in January, I think we got a mail from Neil. And he said, oh, maybe the album's a little bit long. Shall we maybe cut it down? And I was going, no! Don't cut it down. I just sort of fallen in love with that piece and that piece. And I put all these guitars on, you know. Put all this work in, you know, and I'm starting to like the album as it is now, you know. Yes, it is long, you know. So, and we had a Skype conference actually, and I think we couldn't agree. And then Mike came up with a brilliant idea. Oh, let's make 2 albums.
Okay.
We have 2 albums. Roine can have his version, and we can have Neil's version, you know. So what we have is like the blue version is the original version that I sort of could be the headmaster of that album, and Neil could do the other one that's a shorter version, you know, it cut out a bit of pieces, and also rewrite a few of the lyrics, which makes it interesting because I think no other band, as Mike's correctly stated, no other band has made an album, 2 versions of an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, first it just sounded crazy to me. Why would we put in all this work in 2 albums? It's just like, how do we present it to the record label? But funnily enough, the record label said, that's not a bad idea. You think you can deliver it, guys? And we did.
Yeah.
So
and the fans can decide.
Oh,
if
they can
buy
decide.
the longer or the shorter version. Yeah, it's okay.
Absolutely. Free will still.
How long does the preparation for the recordings take, and how does your time management work?
Oh, I think I mean, if you're asking me, normally if I get something on my table, let's say we say, okay, we're going to record an album in whatever, June with Transatlantic. Then I probably start a couple of months before, you know, writing songs and just freely come up with ideas. And then I send it out. So usually my demos are very long, and lots of music, many songs. And the guys get this whatever audio file from me that's 1.5 hours or something, like, with lots and lots of music. So that's how I prepare. I can't really tell how the other guys prepare for the writing sessions for an album, but I think once we get together, we just listen to everything we have and then try to sort of make a few notes, what we like and what we think we could develop, and make to sound like the band, not like personal demos, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how we work pretty much, and it comes very. I mean, it's very organic, you know. Once the 4 guys in the room, we can sort of develop the music, and then when we leave the studio, we have written this song, usually, like this one. I mean, you can call it, they're actually different songs, but when we left the studio, it was just one long piece of music, you know. Just like Whirlwind, but this was even longer. And we even joked about it in the studio, you know. Say, oh, this is even longer than the Whirlwind. It's just crazy. Longer, and the album is actually a double album and a single album. It's just crazy, and even more crazy nowadays when you have vinyls, because I haven't even opened the box, you know, with the vinyls. That might be, I mean, the long one could be at least 4, maybe 5 vinyls. So you need a lorry to carry your vinyls and go from the shop.
So when I read the music magazines in Germany, everybody is talking about the supergroup, Transatlantic, the supergroup. How do you deal with that term, supergroup? Supergroup,
I think, I mean, normally the kind of idea that you put together a supergroup, it's like probably coming from a record label thinking, okay, we can make some more money here. Take that guy. Are you okay working with him? And are you okay working? We get a few brand names, you know. I don't think Transatlantic came about that way. It came about because I think Mike Portnoy heard a band that he liked called Spock's Beard.
Mm-hmm.
And he met Neil and took Neil, I think, on Spock's Beard on as a support band in America. Mm. And then we had a mutual friend, a girl actually that sent Mike Flower King's album, Start As We Are, and he listened to that and he liked that. So that's how I came into the picture. And he knew, of course, of Marillion. He loved Marillion, and he was in contact with maybe I don't know the full story, but I think maybe that Dream Theater may have been touring with Marillion, maybe as a support act at the time, you know, because nowadays Dream Theater is bigger, maybe a bigger brand name, but at the time you have to remember this is probably mid 90s, something like that, you know, and Dream Theater was still, you know, trying to gain a bigger audience. So I think that what happened was Mike was trying to put together a side project, because the only band he has been playing with at that time was Dream Theater, you know, and he just felt ready to do something, you know, more like a proggy, less metal, more proggy thing, you know. So that's how we all came into, and I knew Neil from, we were playing with the Flower Kings in America, in Los Angeles, and I met Neil the first time, so we stayed in contact. I helped him with a little bit of addresses for gigs in Europe, and so we were all in contact, sort of, you know, and then we just dropped the idea to the record label, and they, of course, put it together, but I don't think we viewed ourselves as a supergroup at all. You know, we were just four guys that enjoyed playing together.
Yeah, four guys making extreme good music.
and saw the potential in actually fighting together, you know, and making something that was different, and it worked. So I mean, to be honest, when I left the studio, we were upstate New York, and we just recorded the first album. I had no idea if this was gonna fly at all.
Yeah.
You know? And I think, we made some pretty good music. You know, let's see how the mix comes out, and let's see if the record label will really release it, if we get the money, and if it works. And it worked. It worked from day one. Yeah. So it's something you usually say in Sweden. We say like the sum is sort of bigger than the parts of, I don't know, but you know, it's like you can't just take four guys from well-known bands and put together and just think that this is going to be a success. It was successful in the way that these particular four guys worked very well together, and we had our audiences. So Mike is bringing in the metal audience, Pete was bringing in the Marillion audience, and me and Neil sort of bringing in the more like the progressive and jazz fusion.
So, the Absolute Universe, it sounds to me like a thrilling roller coaster, and it's a fantastic album. Do you think the next album can top this?
I mean, to be honest, we're in the point in life where we don't know if there's going to be another album, you know, because usually there's a couple of years in between, you know. So I never say never, but you know, you're getting to the point in life where you don't know for how long can you be touring, and for how long can you actually keep all these projects going, you know, because it's not only me. I have a couple of projects. Neil and Mike are in Flying Colors, and they do Neil Moore's band, and they do Transatlantic, and Pete is very busy with Marillion. They're doing like their touring, and they're doing their Marillion weekends and stuff. Very successful. So I don't know. We will see. I think we just keep it as always. We just keep it open, and that's also why all the shows and why the touring is more special, because you never know. It could be now, and it can be again in 5 years, but it can be now and never. So getting a ticket is now or never. It could be, honestly.
What is your favorite song on this album?
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
It's just one song. I don't know. I think somewhere in the first part, I think there's a sequence of songs, and I mean, Neil wrote some poppy songs. That's just on the longer version, you know, kind of almost like poppy Beatles like songs. I like that. There's some ballad thing that I really like, and there's a few quirky instrumental things, you know. There's a little bit Gentle Giant style.
Okay. Yeah.
Very tricky to play. You have to be sober. You have to really count. You have to sleep well when you go on.
Yes.
Because it's. I mean, I can sense that nowadays it's like the music is so complicated. It may sound very natural and very easy to play, but it's actually very complicated to play because it changes, different keys, different time signatures. And thinking of this album, I remember when we did a tour now in America a month ago, or a little bit more than a month ago. It was really a long night of music and playing this album in full. That's that's taxing, you know. You need to, I need to lie down, or I need to have a coffee or something, you know. But it's in some strange way we actually managed to do it. But I think it's really complicated. So I mean, you never know. I just enjoy playing it, and when everything works and everything falls into place and we are relaxed, it's great music.
Of course it is. Do we have the chance to see the Flower Kings one time on stage in Germany?
Hopefully. We haven't yet, as you know, with the COVID situation, we haven't. I mean, there's really, it's frustrating in two ways, I would say. First, you have the 2 years of no touring for anyone, pretty much. All the bands just canceling their shows.
Yeah.
And then when everything opens up, it opens up for everyone, and everyone is there. And I just said to my wife the other day, look at all the bands that are touring now, you know. All the bands. I mean, you know, Paul McCartney is out there touring, Elton John is out there, the Foo Fighters. You know, every single band is. I mean, almost every night there's something happening. Rolling Stones are out, you know, and all the other progressive bands, of course, the metal bands. Everyone is touring, so that put, well, in my view, it's maybe not the best time this year for the Flower Kings to tour. We're doing a few shows. Next week I'm going to Norway to play a festival, and we're doing a few shows. But the actual touring, I think, have to wait till next year, because I think everyone is so eager to get out and tour now. So it will just be a mess with everyone out, you know. Oh, on Monday you can see Foo Fighters. On Tuesday you can see Rolling Stones.
Yeah, Cologne is packed up with bands. Good bands at the moment,
Yeah, and Deep Purple is out playing, I think. If you happen to like different kinds of music, so you're not like only loving progressive rock, but you love a little bit of pop, a little bit of prog, a little bit of fusion. There's so many bands, and you have like whatever in a month, maybe you have like 20 concerts to pick from.
Yeah.
And you can't see everything. You can't afford to see every band, you know. So that's my thinking, that the Flower Kings we will probably get together, record a new album this autumn, and then go out play early spring next year.
That sounds good. I'm looking forward. But first we see us in Cologne, and
definitely Cologne, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be there. I think I have a place on the guest list, and maybe we have time to drink a Cologne beer together.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Maybe after the show.
After the show, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay.